Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. In this essay, I'd like to talk about Western governments and the people who vote for them, sovereign as they once were, or have they been reduced to the status of fetch and carry flunkies for the globalist cabal? And I'm talking about the bigger economies of the West here, or certainly the top 20 economies, which include all the English-speaking economies, as well as Japan and France and Germany and so on. I believe we need to accept that in the Western polities, our elected representatives are no longer sovereign. That is, our so-called governments are now in reality junior partners in a power share with the globalist mega mass finance cabal. Mega finance firms such as Vanguard and a handful of others that control directly or indirectly more assets than the entire GDP of the United States, Britain, Canada and Australia combined. That's more than a quarter of the world's wealth, by the way. They have the influence to decide which CEOs and directors will sit on what multinational company boards, where manufacturing operations of a large scale will be located across the globe, which new technology companies will be allowed to grow and which will be gobbled up by another company, a bigger multinational. Their patronage machine is truly awesome in its scale and reach. The major party machines in all the advanced economies, such as the Republicans and the Democrats, Green parties and so on, are all owned by these globalist goons. All the immigration laws, or all the laws passed by our parliaments, including immigration laws, employment laws, judicial appointments, education policy, public service appointments, media laws, politicising of the police force and the courts, the due legal process, market competition laws, government grants and handouts. The list goes on. Indeed, the very basis of how laws are formulated, enacted and enforced are being largely dictated and decided by the unelected globalist goon network. Have you sometimes thought it strange how Western courts seem so incredibly sympathetic to black, brown, illegal aliens? How there seems to be an unlimited amount of money for them to launch court actions, how they can take cases so very quickly to court, how they near tear themselves to pieces to trot out the most strangled judgments imaginable to make illegal alien illegality somehow acceptable. Have you ever wondered why the mainstream media, who are owned by these same mega financial firms, stick doggedly to a narrative in the face of all and numerous facts to the contrary? Our Western politicians are no longer in charge. All that remains is the illusion of a democracy of the people and the mirage of a sovereign government of a free people. If the representatives you vote for are not in charge and willingly take marching orders from the globalists, then it is clearly no longer a functioning democracy, nor can it be a rule of law society as courts are no longer independent. In reality, the globalists have achieved near complete ascendancy over the Western political legal system in its entirety. As for the recent setbacks for the globalists, if the globalists had thought for even a moment candidate Trump was going to win in 2016 or Brexit would get up in Britain, those votes would never have been permitted to take place as they did. Those votes only went ahead because the globalists thought they could not lose. They thought Hillary was a sure thing. While the globalists were and still are getting a lot, not all of what they wanted as far back as the 80s and the Reagan presidency, they probably did not take primary control of Western governments until Bill Clinton's second term as president, and of course all the years since then. Obama is the epitome of a manufactured globalist politician stooge, during which the globalists further penetrated Western governments in a deep state penetration. Obama, a teleprompter reading anti-white hack. The big financial firms probably took decisive control of much of policy during the George W. Bush presidency following 9/11. Bush balked at going to war in Iraq as the cost of such a conflict, in conjunction with the escalating conflict in Afghanistan, would have soaked up all the capital and would have accordingly pushed up interest rates and thus hurt his re-election chances. This is where the big financial firms became at first partners and then controllers of Western governments in the following years. These firms guaranteed funding for the war along with containing interest rates and ongoing easy consumer credit. The era of the packaged derivative or credit recreditisation was born Causes of its creation have dramatically altered the power and status of a once sovereign governments in the West and between them and the globalist financial cabal. Brexit and the election of President Trump not only shocked them, but unleashed their childish tantrums, the ensuing deep state manoeuvring, which is still going on today, and sleazy backroom legal dog and pony tricks, such as that silly Russia hoax, have shown just how used they were to calling all the shots, and I mean all the shots, and the disbelief that some of that power was gone, even if it was only temporary. The globalists still are getting some of what they want from President Trump, such as the crazy skilled work visa scam, and Brexit in reality was just an impertinent inconvenience, but they still tantrumed and screamed all the same. Since the globalists achieved preeminence, the national debt of most Western economies has almost doubled in less than 20 years. Other than in times of total war, such increases in debt are unheard of. As debt increases, relative returns on debt employed declines, which in turn creates an artificial demand for more offsets, such as masses of cheap imported peasant labour, which is what we're seeing here now. This in turn creates more debt within a law of spiralling down, diminishing economic returns. These are waters being fished to extinction. And do the globalists care or give a damn? You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.